Good evening. My name is Amy Krautscheid, and I'm the principal at St. Rose School in Ephrata, Washington. I've been the principal there for 6 years, but even more so, I'm the mother of 5 children, 2 that have graduated from St. Rose School, 2 that are currently attending, and our blessing baby Kellen that will be there in 3 years. When I was approached and asked to do this, I kind of thought, what is it that you're going to need to know from me as a principal and a parent? And I was praying to the Holy Spirit, and the word that kept coming to me was invitation. What a lot of people don't know about me is that I'm a convert. I found my faith. Thank you. The journey I have been on has been almost entirely through the invitation of Christ. It was an invitation at the age of 18 at WSU of one person that invited me to a search retreat that led me to Jesus. Fell in love with him, and I have followed him ever since. Fast forward a few more years, married a beautiful Catholic man named Sam, and we had 2 kids. My oldest was 5. I was a public school teacher, and it was a simple invitation that said, hey, have you ever thought about putting your child at St. Rose School? And immediately in my head, I thought, no. I'm a public school teacher. She's going to come with me. I didn't grow up Catholic or around Catholic schools. But after praying on it, we put our daughter Annika at St. Rose and fell in love with Catholic education. She would come home asking me questions as a new Catholic I did not have the answers to. And I had to go and look up those answers to help teach her. Fast forward several more years, and it was an invitation, but a different one this time. It wasn't an invitation to just a simple yes that God needed me to give. It was an invitation to my calling. A simple phone call that said, Amy, will you come and help out St. Rose School and be our principal? Now, if anybody that knew me then knew, I very loudly and robustly swore I would never in my life be a principal of a school. I did not know what crazy person would ever want the job. I'm a meek and humble spirit, and I do not like confrontation, and I do not like to be the center of attention. However, you don't tell God no. It was a leap of faith. I had 4 kids at the time, 9, 7, 3, and a 1-year-old baby. And I thought, how? How? By the grace of God, of course. As I sat down to write this speech, I thought of what a different life my kids had than I grew up with, having Jesus in their lives. And I thought, oh my gosh, 5 kids? Sam and I have been Catholic school parents for 11 years now. And I'm sitting there going, we're old. We have a long ways to go still. And I started to add it up, and I thought, oh my goodness, when baby Kellen graduates from St. Rose School, the total between the 5 of them is going to be somewhere around 41 years of Catholic education. 41 years. I've only been a Catholic for 22 years. They have me far outnumbered. And then I started to look at it from a principal's perspective, and I thought, wait a second, 41 years? My students go to school for 7 hours a day for 180 days a year. That is 1,260 hours of faith-based education every single year. If you don't have a Catholic school in your area, you might not know that they don't just get their faith in a half-hour little religion program. They talk about the saints during reading and writing and math. They talk about Jesus. They talk about scientists and how our Catholic faith formed some of our major scientific findings. It's all day long. My older 2 are almost 16 and 13. And unfortunately, for our little town of Ephrata, we don't have a middle school and high school that's a Catholic school. So our kids mainstream into the public school in 7th grade. And so my older two are attending CCD classes, a priceless gift we have in our churches. We need to protect that. But I called the church secretary the other day and I said, Christine, how many meetings exactly do we have for CCD? And she looked it up and she said, Amy, we have 27. And I'm thinking of that number, 1,260 hours that my middle two kids are getting. My older kids go to this beautiful faith-inspired CCD program at St. Pius in Quincy, but they get 27 hours. What a heavy load for a parent to make up for when two of your kids are receiving over 1,000 hours and you've got your teenagers receiving 27. Our kids, when we walk into CCD and pick them up, I'm looking around and I'm going, where did all these kids come from? This place is packed. St. Rose is bursting at the seams. As a principal, I barely have enough spaces to put them all. But yet I have empty seats in my school. So we're missing the boat there. There's people waiting for that invitation. We need that faith inspired into our kids in high school, middle school, and elementary school. It needs to keep going. Our family has grown exponentially in our faith just from our kids being at St. Rose School. I know I can discipline my kids by making them write the Beatitudes they just didn't use on their siblings. And I know that because I know what they were taught at school during the day, so they can't back out of it. I also watch my 13 and 15 and a half year old muck their way through teenage life in public school. And I know that they realize they're not alone because they had these amazing educators at St. Rose teach them that the saints are surrounding them. They are never alone. Jesus is carrying them so they can get through the challenges of being a teenager. So I ask myself, why is this fund so important? Why should we donate? And as a parent and a principal, here is your why. The world is loud. It is so loud. And who are we going to let teach our children? TV, internet, social media, friends, other religious groups, other clubs at high school teaching our children that everything's okay if it makes you happy. As a principal and a mother, I want to educate these students with the Lord as their guide. I want to form their moral compass with Jesus, not with the world. We have to instill pride of our Catholic identity in our children in order for them to carry their faith with them as they sift through the noise of the world as an adult. Remember that number? 1,260 hours of Catholic identity every year. Each year, within those hours, I give out close to $60,000 in scholarship, and I always fall short. This grant has allowed me to open the doors wider and truly embrace the bishop's saying, every child has a right to a Catholic education, no matter their ability to pay. It has allowed me to extend that invitation to more families and share this blessing. Our school is more diverse now, and our budget is really eased from the huge burden of need. Families are just now beginning to say, maybe. They're beginning to see that a Catholic education is attainable because of this grant. We are forming our future leaders at these Catholic schools. I want to see these students, rich or poor, go out into our world and lead with Jesus. I need your help to do this. My dream, and I believe my goal and why God led me here, is to see our classrooms get so big that we need to add more teachers. and then get so big we outgrow our schools. I want to see the day when children all over the diocese have the option of a Catholic education all the way through high school. So as you consider your gift tonight, please take a moment to think about the craziness in our world right now. Your government, your state leaders, your city leaders, your businesses, teachers, parents, schools. Help us to open our doors wider and form your leaders with a moral compass that points to Jesus. Help us extend the invitation of a Catholic education to any who enter our doors. Our goal for this evening is to raise $300,000 or more so that we can provide 101 children with tuition assistance to continue Catholic school. As a principal, I can't tell you how dire and incredibly important this is. 25 new students with the opportunity to attend schools. I have 2 waiting on my desk. 25 parishes with grants to enhance their religious ed programs. So important. And 5 students with scholarships to attend Catholic colleges or universities. We have secured matching gifts totaling $48,250, meaning that all gifts tonight up to that amount are doubled. That means your gift tonight of $1,000 will be doubled to $2,000. Partners for this event have generously underwritten all of the expenses. 100% of your gift tonight will provide direct support for faith education. Table captains, at this time, I would like to invite you to pick up the purple manila envelopes on your table. Pass the pledge cards out to those at your table. Gifts can be made as a one-time donation, an annual pledge with monthly payments, or a perpetual pledge with monthly payments. Payments can be by check, credit, or debit card. Before you fill out the pledge card, I would like to ask everyone, take a moment, close your eyes. Consider what you can do to share the faith to open doors to Christ. Ask yourself, what gift is God inviting you to make today? There is also a monthly pledge option that can help increase your ability to give. It will give you an opportunity to take time each month to stop and pray for our families. For struggling school families, the decision to send kids to Catholic schools is not made lightly. That commitment is renewed each and every month as they sit down and write their own tuition checks. Tuition in our schools range from $350 to $500 a month per child. That is an amount that requires great sacrifice and much prayer.